What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Frida and her 1996 Swedish language album that translates to Deep Breath. Thank you again to Adrian, as well as to Darren, who's provided song title translations for this album. And the next track in the playlist is a particularly special one because it's a duet with Marie Fredriksson. So if you've been following this channel for a while, you're likely aware I've been going through Roxette's material for the last couple years, as well as Marie's solo albums and singles. And yes, I'm just a huge fan of Marie and her vocals. I love how she can go big and dramatic, soft and elegant and melodic. She can have some fire and rasp at times. She can be very dynamic within an individual song with her vocals. So I'm a big fan. And the idea of hearing her voice in conjunction with the rightly legendary Frida is a tantalizing prospect indeed. So this tune apparently translates to All My Best Years. Now, I of course expect them to be both singing in Swedish, so I likely won't have any ability to penetrate the concept more specifically. But your best years, theoretically, or I think most commonly, refers to when you're in your prime. Now that can mean different things. It might not literally be your prime of, physicality or health. It could be your prime in terms of a professional life, or your prime in terms of your skill at a particular craft or enterprise, and that may or may not coincide with your, let's say, biological best years, though I think in many cases it would be more or less synonymous. So it's an interesting phrase. Now, I'm thinking my hypothesis, if I were to make one, would be that this might relate to a relationship where you spent all your best years with someone, and I guess there would be at least an implicit suggestion that that had an end. There was a finite period, and this is somehow after that period, and you're reflecting back saying, well, I spent all my best years trying for this or with this person, but now that's not the case anymore. Now, obviously, that could be wrong. It could be, I want to spend all my best years with you, so it could be more forward-looking and positive. But yes, when I saw the translation for the title, I was thinking there was almost a reflective melancholy contained in it, though, again, implicitly, not on the surface, not a direct denotation. I will stop talking now, and we will listen to it. This is Frida with Marie Fredriksson, and the song translates to All My Best Years, from Frida's 1996 album, which translates to Deep Breaths.
Kraften
a very sonically and, of course, vocally rich tune. Again, I don't know what's being said, but it feels like the energy here is warmer and more forward-looking than anything melancholic. Now, of course, sometimes the sonic atmosphere is directly in contrast with the tone or feeling of the lyrics. Obviously, there are songs that go on both sides of that. You know, bright sounding songs with darker lyrics, and then heavier sounding songs that are actually, you know, forward looking or uplifting in the themes. But yeah, the feel of this one was certainly not sad or melancholic. It had energy to it, it had some drive, it had a brightness to it. I love hearing their voices. In a lot of cases, they're sort of going simultaneously and harmonizing. There's other points where they're like overlapping each other a bit, so I enjoyed the dynamic vocal performance. And again, even if you hadn't told me this was a duet with Marie, I'm pretty sure I would have recognized her voice in there. And I enjoyed, especially, it was like the first half of the tune where they were following each other. You know, one would do a lyric and melodic line, and then it would be echoed. So I enjoyed the way the voices were in tandem, duetting, and then, you know, polyphonic or overlapping in different sections of the song. I enjoyed, there was like a sort of a tambourine rhythm. I don't know if it was actually a tambourine, but it had that sort of sound to it. There was, of course, that, not like forte, but, you know, sort of energetic guitar rhythm throughout the tune. Definitely some, you know, bass below that, so there was a nice layering of the tune in terms of the instrumentation. And yes, definitely some nice strings as well. Like, first it seemed there were some shorter stroke type of string lines, and then, you know, some longer extensions. So yeah, I enjoy the composition, I enjoy the chronology, and most importantly, I love the vocals. So yes, a very special duet. And even if I couldn't follow the lyrics, my sense here is that this might be more positive, or at least balanced, which is to say, it doesn't feel heavy and all my best years were wasted or something like that. That's not the vibe that I get from this tune. So yes, a very special treat in an already enjoyable album. And again, knowing that this was a comeback, meaning, you know, it was sort of a distance from her previous album, I really enjoy getting a sense for, you know, this is mid-90s, not mid-80s, you know, sonic differences and so on. It feels like, again, I'm only, like a third or halfway through the album, but I get a sense that this is a bit more focused sonically, which isn't a positive or a negative statement, meaning I enjoy the diversity of her 80s albums. They went in some different directions, some different stylings and so on, and I enjoy an album that does that. However, I do also enjoy an album that sort of has a sound and a style that it pursues more consistently, and this one feels a bit like that, at least so far. So enjoying the journey. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.